Recovery though we do.
I thought we're professionals. Put your hands away.
I was artillery. We just kind of winged the rounds down range.
Hey, I've had artillery. Who knows whose fault it was? Our guys called in, came back on us.
Oh.
Oh man, that was scary stuff.
I bet.
It takes you just like you're in a movie. He goes, and you're over there. Oh.
Holy shit.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah, coming down on people. It's supposed to be a communist, village, and I jump on this man, and I can't cover both of them. And he's already been hit in the first volley. Another one's on its way. We're going to tell him, ceasefire. See, I hear boom, 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 boom. I go, oh man, it's already on its way. So I jump on top of this guy. He's already, his legs are broken. His head's pierced. His wife was right here, and her breast is just scooped out like Jello. And I went, whoa, you don't have time to process it.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
No one said, well, how did that feel? Or did you feel like thrown up on her or whatever?
Dang.
You tuck it in the back of your head because, you're trying to help someone the next. And I'm looking to see me. I have 2 arms. Okay, I have fingers. Am I wet? Now I'm feeling for wetness.
Yeah.
Am I bleeding? I got hit in the fingers and whatever. But then I look over here, there's an engineer. We're attached to them. He's like about as far as the table. And he was burning some boxes so they wouldn't use those booby traps. And it looks like his head's in the fire. I'm checking me first. I'm like, whoa, this guy needs help. So I go over there, and he would have caught, a little bed behind his ear, and it's squirting out like this. I said, well, put that finger in the dike, Put my finger in his head and get these guys out of here. But it's just commotion and chaos,
Right.
It's
And
when it's
just that show,
happening.
and it just kicks in.
You do.
It's over.
You
it takes
do.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Give myself somewhere to edit. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? This is Jason with www.welivetosurvive.com. I'm here with Eddie and our special guest, whom Eddie's going to introduce here in just a second. But we are up here in the Great Pacific Northwest, Linden, Washington, to be exact, and we're in a room that nobody knows about. We have no permission, so if the camera all of a sudden goes black, you guys know where we're at. So today we are going to be doing an interview for Veterans Day, okay, which is coming up here real quick. So be on the lookout for that on the YouTube channel, on the Instagram page, and without further ado, I'll turn it over to you, Eddie.
Good morning, everybody. So it's a lifestyle 360. You can follow us on Instagram. Very, very passionate about this interview. We have today let me correct this, right? It's 3rd Marine, 3rd Recon,
3rd Recon Marine Division.
Sniper
Little
from
Ball.
Vietnam.
Yes.
Mr. Bob Lowry here with us today. So we're going to be talking about his time in. We're going to be talking about a little bit about how he's doing afterwards, how his fitness incorporates into his life, and we want to get this message out to everybody here. It's very, very passionate, very, very powerful, reaching out to veterans and everybody that's in our support. So how many years, sir?
3 active, 3 inactive.
3 active. How long were you in the country?
14 months.
Wow.
Marines always have to do it better,
I'm the only Army guy here, so.
Little bit of rivalry, good talk,
Everybody else will get 12 months. We do more.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
So, what years were you in?
64 to 67.
67.
I was in Vietnam, 66 and half of 67.
Wow. One of the longest battles when you
Oh,
say
yeah.
almost 20 years,
It's amazing.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And that's one thing that, I from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for your service and being here with us today to share your story with whoever is on our side and wants to view this. Definitely something that we were very, very motivated and very pride, a lot of pride going behind this and reaching out to the communities and any way we can to let them know that, we're here to listen and we want you to tell us your story. That's kind of the drive behind our movement. As far as afterwards, the whole exchange from Marine to civilian life, how was that transition for you?
That wasn't that easy.
Right. Right.
I came back and the race riots were happening. I grew up in New Jersey.
Oh.
And tanks were there and people, and it just made me sick.
Yeah.
I thought, wait a minute, I thought war was somewhere else in the world that we went to. And I had men of color in my uniform. We were close, you're like a marriage in the recon team.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe more than a grunt unit. You're losing people always.
Right.
I never lost a man. Of our own men, most of us were wounded, but
Right.
we were attached to many other places where I put many in body bags. But the men that we had, you get to know them like no other. Like you trust them with your life.
Yeah, like you're saying, brothers in arms.
So I came back, and then there was hippie kind of people, and just a lot of people doing different things. And I said, wow. But that was back in the '60s. People were rebelling about a lot of stuff. The music, the behavior, and drugs and everything. I thought, these people aren't squared away at all. So, but it was a tension,
Right? Yeah, definitely different life. It's different.
Well, you don't realize, not only had the world changed, but you had changed.
Right.
And you come back and I had a hair trigger, about lots of stuff. And then we learned later in post-traumatic stress that driving is one of the things that brings that to light. Because you have to have a license, you have to have discipline, you have some kind of training like we were in the military to be able to do something.
Right.
Did they have, back then when you got out, was there ways to help service members as they exited with anything? Because, now they have,
debriefings or something.
Like we go through there and they'll help us build resumes and they'll help us, job search, and they'll give you knowledge on PTSD and stuff like that. So when you guys exited, it was just kind of like, hey, here's your charge paper.
Here's your ticket. See you later, Tater. You're gone. You
Wow.
got on a plane and you left. And no one ever asked me how I was doing or feeling, and I fought the VA for 38 years to get.
That was going to be my next question. Is how long did it take to actually?
My brother and I went in 1970 to start, and they just ignored you. And I found on my chart later, when I got to Seattle, the American Legion helped me greatly. But he looking through my files about that high, and he goes, "Wow!" He said, "I see your brother. You had a confrontation in Newark, New Jersey." I said, "Wow, I forgot about that. I can use that in my post-traumatic stress example." It says you had an altercation. I said, "Yeah, we're going to yank him across the desk because they weren't listening to us."
Jeez.
He's a Marine too. I said, "What's wrong?" I said, how come you treat the warriors when they come home like this? You don't have, we fought for freedom of speech and other things, but you never touch the warrior." And I've seen lots of abuse that way, and they just don't want to hear about your problems and struggles. Then I finally got up here in Seattle, and first I drove 125 miles down to the city, and the guy said, "Okay, get down to your skivvies, your underpants." He said, "Okay, slowly lean forward." I leaned forward about 2 inches. He said, "Okay, get dressed." That's it. That was my exam. From a rent-a doctor. Can you imagine?
That's unbelievable.
And I have compression fractures, from a war problem, and I thought, wow. And they wonder why the veterans, you feel hopeless, helpless. Who's here to help me?
Right.
I came from a place where I depended on you guys for my life. You depended on me.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was our pledge to get each other home if we could at all possible.
Right.
So when these people come and just go, whatever, get lost.
Right. And you come back to nothing, nobody, no support.
Well, when I got the paperwork from that first appointment, 3 months later, I said, "What's the conclusion?" I had a bunch of legal stuff in there. And then one sentence says the veterans does not have a back problem, and it did not occur in Vietnam.
Wow.
And then my post-traumatic stress went.
That came out.
I wanted to drive back down there and have a little chat with that. Yeah, I had some hard struggles with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had and you didn't know what was wrong. Post-traumatic stress, I found out later, sometimes doesn't appear for 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you don't associate with what's happening,
Right.
Home or relationships or.
Right.
My wife would come behind me, we've been married 20-some years at this point, and she'd come with a Safeway bag, a grocery bag that's plastic, and I'd be doing some shit, she'd come, "Yeah!" and come behind me, and I go like this. She says, ow, I think you broke my arm. I said, Gwen, you of all people know better than to come behind me like that and surprise me. She said, well, that was a long time ago. I said, I know, but not in my mind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't understand. The mind is a powerful thing. You have choice, you have the power to choose, but whatever you choose also has maybe power over you.
Yeah, I agree to that.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of the things we learned in the military as guys was that discipline is vital.
Mm-hmm.
You know, corporate discipline, self-discipline, and that never stops.
So I have a big question for you.
Yeah.
How did you end up in the Marine Corps?
Well, I was in boot camp a week after high school. My folks had a sign for me. I was 17 and a half. But I thought, you know, as you start to graduate, it's supposed to be a little more mature. But I thought, well, if I ever went to college, I don't know, probably party or be foolish or be a dummy or something and flunk out. You know, I wasn't that disciplined in that one sense. So I went to school to have fun. And that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew about every person, 400 and some kids in the school. And then I was telling some kids recently when I was speaking at a school, I said, you know, when I got back, I wanted to go to college or something, do something a different kind of challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, my so-called friends said, well, you can't do that. You never took the college track. You never took a second language. You never took the SAT. I said, you know, I have 2 master's degrees and I'm finishing my doctorate. I still haven't done any of those things. I said, don't let naysayers tell you what you can't do.
Right.
Amen to that.
I said, if you're here today and you haven't applied yourself like me, I want to tell you something. There's life after high school. Maybe those guys that have degrees will come to you for your computer work or fix your car or whatever. If you're a carpenter, you know, everybody uses college materials. That's not the way you should go.
Yeah.
You know, just because the herd, if I have a dumb idea and 10,000 people believe it, it's still a dumb idea. You know, so I tell kids, you pick what is for you, and you know, make trial and error. You talk to other people, get wisdom from others.
Right.
I said, wisdom is not making the same dumb mistake that guy did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, learn from his mistakes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dumber than a stone.
So you're how old, sir?
What am I? 38.
Something like that.
I'm going to be 70 next month.
So you're gonna be 70 next month, and actually the place that we're sitting in right now, there is a gym here.
That's why we're still in gym attire.
Yeah.
It's not the way
That's
we
why these
walk
guys
around
are in
now.
cutoff sleeves and hoodies, and
Yeah.
so you come here every morning.
Try to go about 5 times a week. Yes.
Around what time do you usually get here in the morning?
6:30.
Now is that something that, because I know me, I've been out, I got out in 2010, I still can't sleep in past about 6 or 6:30. Do you come here early because, is it a
my day
routine
starts.
thing?
It's a
or?
routine now, yes.
Okay, now, I'm going to ask you the big question that I ask everybody that gets into fitness. Why do you do it? Like, what is your reason for getting up every morning? And, aside from, I know a lot of people, it's, I want to be healthy or, I want to change my life. But what is your motivation to get up and come here at almost 70 years old and do this every day?
Because I don't think I'm 70, I guess.
Yeah.
I forgot what day it was. I don't feel 70, actually. Those things are important, health and whatever, but if you've been injured in a war, I used to fall on the ground from back injuries, and I'd lay in front of my fireplace, have the kids get a mattress, and I'd lay there for weeks at a time.
Wow.
Being in a jar and drinking out of a cup and a straw. You're reinforced, if you don't have your health, that's a big factor in your life. And I wanted to do what I could to recover it, and I realized if you stay home, you have to push through some things, and part of that again is a discipline. And I prayed a lot, asked for healing and direction and strength, and I would come, but not only encourage me, but I'd find other people I kept encouraging about their walk in life. But for me, I realized if I don't take care of this machine, especially as we age and other things, the pressures, the struggles, and the poisons in our food and air and everything we have,
Are the poisons that you were exposed to?
I was Agent Orange. I have Agent Orange.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
they told me when I went to the test, I said, well, you have diabetes. He said, did you know you have diabetes? I said, you just told me.
Oh, man.
They said, well,
I do now.
Yeah, I do now. Thank you, Flash. So they said, well, you guys are 20% higher, the Vietnam veterans.
Dang.
Yeah, I'd be filling our canteen. Some of my buddies were dead in 20 years.
Wow.
There's about 15 cancers, many, ischemic heart disease, and so many things from Vietnam. So our age guys, military especially, you realize it's a long journey.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes quick, but you need to take care of what you have.
Right.
And then for me, with post-traumatic stress, then I worked with teenagers for 35 years. That's enough to give you more post-traumatic.
Young adolescents.
Yeah.
And,
They used to say, I wish you were my dad. I said, well, I can never be your dad, but I can be Uncle Bob.
What did you do when you said you worked with with a teenager? What exactly did you do with them? Was it just kind of like a counseling role?
Counseling
mentorship
role.
type stuff.
That too. Then I'll begin to be physical. I might take kids on a 50-mile hike.
Nice.
And you live
Nice.
out there.
Yeah.
They've never been away from their goofy friends, so then they never seen much. You lay out there in your sleeping bag along the beach of the West Coast, and they go. I say, okay, watch this, guys. And all of a sudden you have a meteor shower going on, or they're out there clapping. And they've never seen it. The city with the lights, and they're too busy doing goofy things.
Right.
And they go, wow, I didn't know it was here. I say, okay, now look, guys, this looks like a good place for some deer or cougars. I go. And all of a sudden they go, oh, there's one, there's two, there's this, there's a bear, there's those stuff they're missing in life, just in nature, and
Right.
the waterfalls and the mountains, and take them skiing or whatever.
It's the video game era, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they thought, well, if Uncle Bob can do this, jeepers, I should be able to do this. And so we challenge, we tell them teamwork, working together. And kids will say, man, I ain't going there. You call the jobber, I'm not. Well, they just drag that carcass right along, heels in the sand. This one girl, she was into the Hardy Boys or something. So I had a walking stick that I cut a couple years earlier. I said, here, tell me about the Hardy Boys. It was on her shirt. I had her hold the other end of my walking stick. And we walked for miles that way. I just kept her chatting.
Wow.
And she didn't think about she was actually working and sweating and doing
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was good. But
Wow.
kids were looking for other things, and they say, but I wish you were my dad. So I can't be your dad, but I can be Uncle Bob. So I would teach them about relationships, and maybe you don't have a dad, or he's absent at home, or whatever. He's not there for whatever reason. But I said, I have a responsibility too. I learned in Vietnam again. We saw the homeless, and by the hundreds of thousands, and looking for food, and no opportunity, no nutrition. They were little kids with their hair was already out. In fact, I came to Vietnam with my hair was so thick the barber would jam his scissors on it, the cutters.
Jeez.
And it was about 6 weeks later, my hair started to fall out. I go, whoa, what cuckoo's wrong with me? And it would start falling out. And I realized that's just a stress.
Yeah.
It gave a chemical reaction to my body.
Yeah.
Other guys' hair turned white and falling out as well. And it was a stressful place. And then because what we did behind enemy lines, you're all camouflage and you're there, and this guy's walking by, and you go, whoa, is he one? Is there two? Or is there 20? Is there 200? And I'm going, oh man, God, don't let me fart, don't let me sneeze, don't let me burp, don't let him have to take a leak over here where I am. So I don't want to encounter you. I'm not looking for trouble,
Yeah.
but trouble will come if we meet. So yeah, you just tried to, I had this habit called breathing, and I want to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Main goal.
Breathe it, and I want to keep it.
That's right. So I've been on, 6 guys with 500 around us, blowing bugles, saying Marines you die, and we shook hands goodbye. I mean, some scary stuff. And I've been on my deathbed a few times, and it makes you respect life.
So what did you do? For people watching this
Yeah.
that don't know what that means on your shirt right there, what exactly did you do in the Marine Corps?
I don't reckon.
That's right. This guy must be from the country.
I don't recall. I was the cornstalk. No, that's recon in short. See? See what happens when you,
Yeah.
when the weights fall and you're headed to the gym? This is what happens. No, short for reconnaissance. It's recon, Marine recon. So out there and observe the enemy, and you could get a downed pilot or capture prisoners, and you'd report that information back to intelligence circles and up to the generals, and then they would decide to send however many thousands perhaps on a new mission or patrol or a theater of some kind of operation. And again, we were attached to many. We gained quite a reputation.
What did they call you?
Well, we had it was a staff sergeant whose name was Ron Hoover, and they called us Hoover's Hunters.
Sweet.
And we go on different countries. They were talking about us in the Philippines and over in Okinawa and places like this. I said, we thought, how'd you find out about us? We thought you're out there just doing your thing, but we were so fortunate. We came into many clashes and things that you're supposed to not have contact.
Yeah.
But oftentimes you had no choice. You were dropped right in the middle of something. So life becomes precious to you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know, you just don't take that for granted.
Most definitely.
That's why we need to. That's why it comes to exercise as well, to release stress.
Mhm.
You know, so I don't drink it away, eat it away.
Yeah.
You know, you can be 300 pounds, or there's enough pressures in life. And then just tell Lenny before, I got a call from a counselor who, a man would come and his wife, and she said, I haven't gotten anything out of him in about 6 weeks. He just sits there with the Vicks inhaler up his nose.
Dang.
And I said, so I said, they probably think he has an addictive behavior, right? Personality or something. And she says, I don't know. She said, I heard you're a veteran. Could you talk to him? I said, sure, put him on. He gets on the phone, wouldn't know who I was, gave a little synopsis real quick, and he goes, I said, hey, apparently your counselor says that you're putting this Vicks up your nose, and I said, you can't get the smell of blood out of your mind, can you? He said, no. He started to cry, I started to cry. I said, I understand. I said, but you need to make peace with your past.
Wow.
And she got back on the phone about 20 minutes. Says, wow, you got more out of him in 20 minutes than I did in 6 weeks. So that's because you have no point of reference. How, when you come back, I thought to my parents, or how would I ever tell mom and dad what I saw, what I participated in? And say, no way, I'm telling them.
Right.
Yep.
I can't. They won't understand, but I don't even know where to start.
Right.
And then
not only that, but one thing that I've also got involved is that it's kind of like you almost push them away in a sense because they start to fear. You look at you different. You're like, oh.
Well, yeah, you didn't want to look like a cyclops.
Yeah.
Jack, you felt like one.
Yeah. Right.
As I said, because not only the world changed, you changed.
Yeah. And then that time frame.
But you didn't know how you changed. You just
right,
knew something was different.
That time frame that you were overseas, you're changing, your mind's changing. They're still living their life.
Whatever they kept doing.
Right. And we come back to a different person, and as a different person from overseas.
I hear a helicopter, so I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm jumping
I
around.
actually had when I filed for my VA disability claim, I had to have sworn statements written by family members, and they had to write basically what I was like prior to the military and then afterwards. And I had my mom and my dad, and my younger sister actually she does psychology for a job. So, I mail the stuff off. I was living out in Wenatchee at the time. I mail the stuff off. I get it back, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna read. I want to see what they have to say.
Right.
You probably should.
And it was like that was the first time it just hit. Like, man, you got something wrong. You need to get some help, because you're reading what your own
family has done.
How your parents view you now, and it's like, holy cow! Like, they almost make you sound like normal kid.
Abnormal kid.
9 years, 3 deployments later, he's an animal. He's way out there in left field by himself. So it's a crazy thing.
Right.
It is.
Right.
And being in the jungle most of the time, you're like a caveman, and if somebody's close enough to touch you or whatever, that's not a good thing. So anybody who would be close to me or touch you, or whoa, you kept your to the back. If we're sitting here, I have my back to the wall. You watch the exit, egress. how do I escape through the window?
Yeah.
You're thinking like crazy man.
Right.
And I
Always
was,
assessing.
yeah. And then we never spent 1 minute on what's in the jungle. I was attacked by a Bengal tiger one night in midair. I shot him and the guy next to me too. Wild boar jumped over me. Snakes crawling at night. Monkeys poop in their hand and throw it at you.
Yeah.
Apes throw rock apes throw rocks at you out of their caves. You got to watch for the scorpion. Don't sit on that. Watch for the spider that is an 8-foot spider web. There's so many things besides the terrain. It was brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Temperatures up to 140 degrees, and it was a chore.
Oh yeah.
Just to
survive that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could have been on safari and say, "Whoa, this is tough." Not counting somebody looking for you.
Right.
And you observing, trying to do your job that you were sent to do.
And you guys didn't have like now we have like
The technology
like,
is a lot different.
well, I mean, we used to go to like Fort Polk, Louisiana to train for woodland environment. We would go out to Fort Irwin in California to train in the desert environment,
desert environment, yeah.
And I'm sure you guys didn't
We didn't.
really be like, hey, you guys are going to go spend the next, 40 to 60 days training in desert simulation,
Right.
or woodland jungle,
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just kind of like, hey, get on there and you're
Going.
out.
You have a compass? Oh yeah. We just follow that.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it was new for all of us, in a lot of ways.
Wow.
Yeah, obviously some training, but even the equipment. We're doing hand signals now. I just go, yeah. We got headsets, cameras, and
Yeah, nowadays, yeah.
I wore a helmet one time on one beach landing we had. Otherwise, we just wore a floppy hat or no hat. If you're looking for snipers and apes and other things,
Yeah.
What is that up there? Something dark. Well, no, that's not a person. Or yes, it is. It's shooting back. It isn't an ape.
So before we get out of here, is there anything, obviously you've been out of service for
Couple years.
a few weeks, but is there? I mean,
Old glass world.
I kind of went into why we're trying to do this whole movement stuff. It's to help guys out there, gals out there that are maybe struggling with some PTSD issues of their own, and regardless of whether they're Vietnam era, Desert Storm, Iraqi free, whatever it is, it's out there for everybody. But is there any advice that you would give to anybody right now, that maybe is going through anything like that, as to what, they can do for themselves, maybe a first step, or, just anything to help assist them?
Yeah. Well, the Marines have a saying, the few, the proud, the Marines. Well, all that's true and good, but we can have a pride that gets in the way too. You think you can do it on your own, I'm self-sufficient, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to come to the realization that thing's bigger than me. Then sometimes you think often, well, it's only me. Other guys look okay or they're all right. Well, no, we all have different struggles, different ways to cope with them, perhaps. And just like in Vietnam, the guys came back. We had a whole country that wasn't real excited that you were involved in anything either. So they started eventually after me. I came home and I was proud to be home, excited to be home, proud of what I served. But other men later, they would tell them in different branches even, take your uniform off and put on your civilian clothes. I struggle with that kind of thing. A uniform means something.
Mm-hmm.
You're warriors that went to battle. When you come back, in other cultures, they honor the warriors. In Rome or other great...
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Different periods of history. You came back from the battle, they thanked you.
Yeah.
And how
They're happy
how
to
young
see
people
you.
today, if they want them to serve in the military, they're watching, how did you treat the warriors that came home before me,
Right.
before us,
Right.
of the past. And when we come, that's why with the veterans like Vietnam, when you guys come from Desert Storm and other places in Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia, wherever, we go, hey, we remember.
Yeah.
No one appreciated us very much.
Right.
Mom and dad might have, but your neighbors, a few relatives maybe, some did, even my own friends, thought you were wrong and strange. And we needed to honor them. that's what the nation's about.
Mm-hmm.
And we never failed the people back home. Even when they failed us at times, we never surrendered. We did our best.
That's right.
And we took an oath that we're willing to pay a price even up to and including our life. That's a precious gift. I don't give that away free.
Yeah.
You're either committed or you're not.
That's right.
It's not like you got hit by a bus when you cross the street.
Mm-hmm.
You deliberately could be in harm's way.
Yeah.
That's right.
And there's a commitment to each other. So if I cared about you in battle, to me I need to care about the fellow veteran when he's home.
Right.
And then for some of us, we're married, maybe, I don't know if you're married, but some of us are or have been. Sometimes some of my buddies, they had a couple marriages.
Mm-hmm.
But their spouses didn't understand or realize what they went through either.
Right.
Why do you, kick the dog and punch the wall and yell at me?
Right.
And sometimes we didn't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
Why am I angry?
Mm-hmm.
Why is my, fuse so short?
Right.
And I think that's our responsibility, help the guys make that transition. And the ladies, thank you for the women who served as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
We didn't have many like in Vietnam doing that, but since then, they've gotten more and more involved.
That's right.
There's some badass women out there in the military.
Oh, yeah.
There's some hardcores out there.
That's right. Like I said, we tease each other, but I honor them the same way. It doesn't matter, man or woman.
They put their life on the line as well.
If you're going to come and pick me up in the chopper and save my hide, then I'm glad to meet you.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's I think that's kind of like the main focus between our movement here is that we want to share your story. We want to look after those vets that that are suffering with PTSD. That even if they want just to talk, to hear our story, to tell our story, men and women. That's why we really appreciate your time today, Bob, and
appreciate you guys
and your service, and that we look up to you. It's one of the very first warriors, that are. I don't wear the same height and everything.
I thought you meant I was tall.
But yeah, we really appreciate your time today, man.
Mm-hmm.
We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jay, you got anything else you want to end up with?
Actually, I have an announcement. This is going to be I think I was telling you last night. Anybody that's out there that follows me on social media, or Eddie that's out in the Rochester area, tomorrow, Friday at 5 o'clock or 1700, my brother-in-law was actually killed in action in 2007 in Iraq. And they're opening up a VFW post out there in Rochester, about 3.5 hours south of where we're at. And they're going to be holding a service there, and they're actually going to be naming that hall after my brother-in-law, Chris Nelson. So if anybody's out there, my sister texted me yesterday, it's a very proud moment for her, for our family. And his anniversary date of when he was KIA is actually coming up November 18th. So, good time for her, to get something, some support from the community, something very positive. So there'll be that coming up. This video should be airing tomorrow, hopefully by tomorrow afternoon. I'm not going to do any editing to it. None of this was scripted. We wanted to keep some good, just wholesome raw footage here. And like Eddie mentioned earlier, I'm not trying to create a product here. It started off as a product, a couple years ago. I'm trying to create a movement. We're trying to reach out to the veteran community. There's a lot of veterans out there. Some of us currently still struggle with, post-traumatic stress syndrome, depression, anxiety, anger issues. There's a lot of things that a lot of veterans, both, from the past, from the present, from the, even from the future, they're suffering. So if you know any veterans like that, if you yourself are a veteran like that, feel free to email us. at welivetosurvive.com. You'll find all the contact information on there. You know, even if you guys just want to talk, chat, or whatever, you know, we're available.
Instagram.
But yeah, my Instagram at welivetosurvive.com. That's the main Instagram page for We Live to Survive. So if you guys don't have anything else, sir, I do appreciate your time
Thank you.
very, very much.
Thank you.
And we're going to go ahead and get out of this room before we
get
get booted out. So you guys have a good weekend. Happy Veterans Day to all you veterans
Day.
out there.
Yes.
Thank you for your service. And we'll see you guys soon. It's a wrap.